Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Game Testing Unlimited. My name is Wilfred. So Wolcen has been launched just very recently, and I've spent a couple of hours playing it at launch. So I'm going to take you through the character creation screen, a little bit of the beginning, kind of like a comeback, just a little bit intro on the game itself. I've already played this game during the beta stage, so I kind of know what is happening and so on. This is going to be just a first look kind of video, and I will progress and do more videos for you guys as I play a little bit more. Now, as you can see, we can now have a female character, and there's a little bit of customization there. So you may like it, you may not like it, but all in all, I feel that the head is a little bit small compared to the body, which you will see in just a bit. But that's just one of the feedback I've got from the character kind of like customization, and later on you will see a little bit gameplay as well. The animation looks a little bit stiff, so as to speak. But all in all, if you just to summarize and too long didn't read kind of version of it, is that I think Wolcen is still below my expectation compared to other games like Path of Exile, Diablo 3 or Grim Dawn. So if I were new to the whole ARPG genre, I would start with any of those games like Path of Exile, Grim Dawn or Diablo 3 before Wolcen. However, if you already play those games and are bored with all those ARPG scene and really need something to play, really need a new kind of like game to play, then yeah, of course, Wolcen could be one option. Now, the creating of the game here is kind of slow because of day one, but all in all, it does feel a little bit slow as well. I edited the video a little bit. So I think it took me about 3 minutes to 5 minutes to get into the game because of just so many people playing Wolcen right now. But even in beta, when there wasn't really a lot of people, it took me a while to create a game. It's just one of those things that even if I install the game in the SSD, it does take a while compared to other games that I play. But all in all, you see the graphic wise is a little bit different from the beta. I think the beta initial part was a little bit nicer. It's a lot of like rain effect, kind of like a reflection on the ground and so on and so forth. I think they may have downgraded the graphic a little bit just to make it doable, releasable, I guess, because it does require a lot of work for those graphics to work. When there's only a small team. I think they don't really have a big team like some of the established ARPG developer out there. But hey, I mean, it's released, and now you can see I'm playing sort of like a mage character, and the you can see the hand just constantly held up like that. I don't know why, but there's a lot of the ability depends on the weapon itself. So I'm now holding a staff, so I'm doing a little bit of range, which I kind of like. That's what I'm signed up for. But later on, as you can see, I actually switched to melee because I couldn't find any good two-hand kind of like weapons and so on. So I become a melee character, which I didn't quite enjoy. You will see in just a bit. I feel that there's a lot of animation kind of sequence there. You can't really cancel it. That means that my character actually is not as responsive as I wanted. So give you an example. When I want to dodge, like for example, I see the boss is going to hit me with something, and if I want to dodge, sometimes I can't dodge because I'm stuck in an animation, and I feel that my character is not as responsive as I wish to be. Is it a deal breaker for you? I don't know, because when you see the video, you can't really tell, but when you play it, I feel that's pretty sluggish and there's a clunkiness to it. I have to somehow, just walk away from certain things, and I can't really rely on the dodge to do things. Even some of the ability, like when I click the button, I thought it happens, but it didn't happen because it doesn't queue to the next kind of like steps. I don't know whether you know what I mean or not, but if you play games like Diablo 3 or Path of Exile or even Grim Dawn, it's very responsive. You want to execute action number 1, it does number 1. You do number 2, it does number 2. And some power can be cancel the animation as well. Some dodge or whatever can cancel the animation. You don't need to get stuck there. So I felt that this is more like a Dark Souls kind of game whereby you have to hit button one after another. You have to react to the gameplay. Like if you only press a button if you're sure that you could last that animation duration, and then you do something like that. Also very hard to pick up stuff, by the way. You have to click to the very precise pixel to pick something up. Just some of the feedback here. It's hard to tell when you watch a video, but I'm just sharing my experience with you on how some of this game I kind of like play like. But all in all, I mean, it does have its own merit as well. I mean, the graphic looks pretty nice, and you can by and large dodge things and see what is hitting you. I feel that it could be a little bit repetitive as well, because some of this clip that I show you is like an event. So this is like an event whereby, yeah, I mean, you see a lot of mobs coming through you, but majority of time, like 90% of the time, you encounter groups of mob after the other, more like World of Warcraft, by the way. And it is the same set of mobs that you need to destroy, the same set of power that you use, and same set of maneuver, and it get repetitive fast a little bit. That's how I felt. Perhaps that's why they force you to change your weapon and change your playstyle, because after a while you do get a little bit. I felt a little bit bored after a while playing this one, because it's just the same power that I use and so on and so forth. There's the tile set wise, it's not really a lot to go for. There's a lot of dungeon that looks very repetitive to each other, the tile set. So especially the long dungeon later on, as you can see, it is just a tunnel after tunnel after tunnel. I mean, even Path of Exile has a lot of uniqueness when it comes to the dungeon itself. You can see like different area, you can recognize some area and so on and so forth. But for Wolcen, I think they are trying to just leverage on some of these things that they have tile set. By the way, this is the active skill modifier, whereby you could modify the skill to suit your need. I don't really feel that impactful, because it's either a increased damage or increased range or decreased cooldown of the skill. Maybe at a high level I will see something a bit different, but at a low level it seems very generic. It gives you the illusion of customization, but not really so. And also, by the way, there's a way to modify your attribute as well, which I find it a bit odd, because there are 4 attributes to increase. And it seems that as you increase the attribute, you will get more bonus damage from the attribute of the primary skill. So I feel that if out of the 4, and there's a lot of points to allocate, like 80 of them when I'm level 9, and it's like, how do I allocate based on what? And of course, if you dump everything into one attribute, and you get pretty good damage modifier. But it seems like it's just a mathematic games that I can't even figure out what's the trade-off. So that is possibly what I feel. And by the way, I mean, the fact that this character can be ranged, can be melee, and can be make me a little bit harder to choose an attribute that I want to further on. So yeah, I mean, that's just my humble feedback. So far, there's a lot of feedback I have on Steam. So far, I'm not recommending the game at this stage, mainly because I just want to see a little bit more. I have a pretty high standard when it comes to ARPG. If there's an ARPG that I recommend or I enjoy playing, and it has to be something that's good. So far, it feels a little bit, just not quite there. There's something not quite there. I don't know. So I'm observe a bit of like new patches coming in, if there is, in the early day, and see what you can do with the whole, Wolcen itself. Another mechanic you can see here is that there are the hotbar. There's a left hand side which is hit point, and right hand side which is like the I think magic and rage as well. So I need the purple power to fire off magic kind of like fireball and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, because I'm holding a shield and a sword, I can't do any magic power. And henceforth, the purple mean nothing to me, but yet the rage is the one that I need to accumulate to do power. So sometimes I just run out of rage and I can't do anything, and just to do a basic power or just receive attack, and I get rage. So a bit odd itself. I think ideally. Oh, by the way, this is one of the Miniboss itself. Rather fun, I would say, but just that bear in mind, there's a lot of animation problem that I'm facing. A lot of time I want to dodge, it doesn't dodge. A lot of time I want to click something out, it doesn't really go out. So yeah, and I think I figure out that this is the time when the boss is a little bit it broke the armor a little bit, so there's a second stage whereby I can do a bit more damage. So seems to me that for Wolcen, you need to observe the telegraph of the boss, which is nice, I guess, and you have to actively dodge all these things first, and then after that, when you can break the armor, you do a little bit more damage and so on. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit of Dark Soul thingy, and I feel that melee is a little bit harder because of all this nonsense that go around there. I can't really dodge. I think that potentially a range is a more palatable because it's easier to dodge some of these things. But I mean, I don't know. I have to play a little bit more to see what I really like. Between the melee and range itself. Alright, so this is one of the mini bosses here, and I'll give you the final boss of the app, well, not app 1, but just that chapter, to give you some idea of how it plays like. Alright, so what other thing to talk about? Well, I mean, day 1, there's a lot of online server connection issue, but let's not talk about that, because I'm pretty sure once the Wolcen get a little bit more settled, people get excitement, gone, or they scale up the servers, all this become like non-problem, I guess. But I mean, there are quite a lot of people who are playing Wolcen right now, so I can understand that this game is kind of popular, and I also wouldn't want to trash it too much until I get to the mid game or end game, because I mean, look, for beta I can only see act 1, and now they added 2 more acts to it. So yeah, I mean, I'm keen to see what it looks like, and by the way, you can see all the rage building up and so on. I'm keen to see what it looks like, and I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess, but still, like I said, I mean, it just things that are just I get really irritated by the fact that I cannot articulate my move on the character that I play. So like the animation problem that I'm facing is very real for me. It doesn't seem that I'm able to dodge certain things or move to a certain area and execute certain power and so on. Yeah, probably that's my humble feedback on that one. Now this is the final boss time. I think my character died twice. I think at least you have to. Well, it's funny thing. I don't know how to say this one, but it seems that there are 3 chances. There are 3 tokens whereby you can self-rest yourself, and yeah, these are solo. And if you fail, then you have to redo the boss again. And I don't think there are any way to do it except to just keep getting better at the boss maneuver, because there's no gear to farm per se, because all the gear drop there is pretty crap at your level. They are either they're not that inspiring. The loot job, it doesn't give you the advantage even if you now this one I couldn't even dodge out, by the way. That's the reason why the character dies. And I mean, I don't think I can get better gear in a sense, because so far I've seen the gear are very uninspiring. It's just statistics that is it's either 8 stamina or 4 stamina and 4 shield force, or like 3 of something and 5 of something kind of thing. So it is as a mix of like stats, but it doesn't give you things like in Diablo legendary items whereby you can have a little bit of powerful weapons that you could use. You can farm a bit of like a powerful weapon and so on. There isn't such thing in so far I've seen. So it's purely have to learn the boss mechanic. You can't really just tank it through or whatever. And just have to make sure you go behind the thing a little bit and pop some health potion along the way. And there's a lot of nonsense coming up as well. And yeah, I mean and watch what's on the ground, all these like poison or whatever on the ground, telegraph. I mean, it does look pretty exciting, but I mean, I can say the same for Green Dawn, because Green Dawn boss also pretty exciting. But Green Dawn is a lot more forgiving, so that you could learn your way while you play do the boss. The difference is that it just takes longer to defeat the boss. But Green Dawn, to me, by and large, is a bit more forgiving, and but this one is really unforgiving. I mean, if you just fail to observe certain things like this one here, if you fail to dodge this guy, you'll probably get one shot in some sense. So it's very Dark Soul-like. Some people like it, the roguelike Dark Soul kind of game. It's never my, I don't know. I like a bit of like button mashing and a bit of action. Things go a little bit faster. But yeah, I mean, this one you can see is a bit of strategic move that you could just wait it out a little bit. Of course, there's a lot of mob that's been summoned, so you don't want to wait out too long as well. But yeah, I mean, there are things that you could do, and I couldn't get out at all. This one I couldn't even get out for whatever reason. I got stuck there. I frantically clicked the dodge, and I got the stamina as well. So the green little dots are the stamina, but I couldn't even dodge out of it. I don't know, for whatever reason. So maybe I was being blocked. I don't know. So it is rather tough as a melee character. As a range, I think it could be easier if you build a more tanky kind of version of it. So that's the boss defeat. Alright, so now as I play the game, I will certainly give you a little bit more insight as I progress and so on. If you get any questions and comments, do feel free to drop me a notes below, and I'll do my best to answer or entertain your requests as well. Do you enjoy Wolcen? Do you think that it is a great game, better than Path of Exile, Green Dawn, and or Diablo 3? Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.